Hey guys, it's Josh here, and in today's video, I'm going to walk you through the exact inner child healing process that I used to heal my trauma and fix my marriage. So, let me just give you a little bit of context, and then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to break down this inner child healing system so that you can take it and use it and apply it in your own life. But first, just let me give you the context because back in 2022, I met my now wife. We met in January 2022. We got pregnant in about April or May 2022. Then we got married in November 2022, and we had our first child in December 2022. So it was a big year, and everything moved really fast in that first year. But then the second year, 2023, everything had changed for us. She went from being an entrepreneur to now being a stay-at-home mum. I went from being someone who really was a bit of a free spirit with no responsibility to now being the sole income provider, a husband, and a father. A lot changed, and with that change came a lot of surfacing of old trauma, right? I had to work through, and so I found myself in this position in 2023 where I was getting really triggered. I was getting frustrated. I noticed that I was being controlling around money, and it was causing me to be a bit reactive emotionally. And I knew that that wasn't really the kind of person that I wanted to be. It wasn't the man I wanted to be. It wasn't the husband I wanted to be. And it wasn't the father I wanted to be. And so I took it upon myself to work it out because I knew that it wasn't about my wife and it wasn't really about the money either. It was actually more about me, right? It was something that I was feeling, and therefore it was something that I could address within myself. So I started to open my awareness to opportunities that could potentially help me, and I started to actively look for help. And then I ended up finding an inner child healing process from a coach. And I used that. It was a free training, kind of like what I'm giving you right now. And then it was so good that I ended up going and working with him. And I worked with him for 6 months and just completely changed my emotional responses around money and my reactivity. And I went from being kind of controlling and easily frustrated to being super calm and at ease. And so I also realized that it wasn't about the money, it wasn't about my wife, it wasn't about the relationship, it was about my own inner wounds of not feeling good enough. And so when I addressed those issues, I was able to make incredible changes. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to basically run you through this system. I'm going to keep it no bullshit, keep it no fluff, so that you can actually just take this and apply it to your own life. I don't want to be some guy on YouTube that's just kind of like stealing your dopamine and not giving you anything in return. I want to make sure that this is actually a good use of your time. So what I would recommend is that you grab a pen and paper and follow along with me, right? Do this process because it's extremely powerful. So it's called shifting emotional patterns. And you want to do this when you're having some kind of troubles in your life, right? Whether it's like a frustration with your partner, maybe it's you're getting really impatient and snappy. You know that you're being a little bit controlling, and sometimes it's hard to know. Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes, like in my case, I didn't really think I had any trauma, or I didn't even think I had any money wounds. Um, and then it came up, and I started to go into it instead of avoiding it. I went into it, and I realized, fuck, I do have some of these issues. So, if you think that you could have issues, or there's certain areas of your life where you feel like you're a bit stuck, this is going to help. The first thing you got to do, one, is identify the pattern, right? Now, I've actually written a blog for this video as well. So if you prefer to read, there's actually a blog linked in the description, and you can go through this at your own pace in a written form. But first thing you got to do is you've got to identify the pattern. So what's the recurring experience that you keep having that you don't necessarily want to be having? You got to identify that, right? And so, for example, for me, it was like I'm getting reactive with my wife, or feeling less scarcity around money, feeling like we never have enough money, and it's causing me to be a bit reactive, right? Two, find the attachment. But for you, it might not be a money thing. It might be a relationship thing. It might be like you don't have a partner, and it's like, oh, I just feel like I really want a partner, but I feel like I'm never going to find the right person, or something like that. Or I want to get that job promotion, but I feel like I'm, everyone's out to get me, or there's no chance that they're going to allow me to go up in the ranks at work. It's like a mental limitation that you have that's also kind of expressed in your life. So that's identifying the pattern. Next point is to find the attachment. There's going to be something that you're attaching yourself to mentally. It's like you're attaching yourself to some idea. For me, back then in 2023, I had this attachment to this idea of earning $10,000 a month. I was growing my business and wanting to become the sole income provider. So I had this real strong attachment to, like, I want to hit 10,000 a month in my business. And that was the attachment. And so what I realized was I had this pattern, which was not feeling like we had enough money, or getting reactive around money. And then the attachment was, when I have, $10,000 a month, every month in my business, then I'll finally feel good enough. So yeah, the way that you find this attachment is you ask yourself this question: when I have ... I will finally feel ... So you've identified the pattern. Now ask yourself this question: when I have ... I will finally feel ... What is it? When I have, X amount of money, I'll finally feel good enough. When I have the partner, I'll finally feel loved. When I have the job promotion, I'll finally feel worthy. What is it for you? Right? Find that attachment. Number 3 is to unpack the unconscious. Okay, so there's going to be an unconscious identity beneath the surface. If you look at your answers from number 1 and number 2, you're going to see there's kind of a theme there, or an energy. And I want you to ask yourself, is this coming from a victim energy or a people-pleasing energy? So look at your first 2 answers kind of subjectively, kind of from the third person. If this was someone else, would you say that they're operating from a victim mentality or a people-pleasing mentality? And then choose one. So for me, it was the people pleaser, right? It was like, when I have, this much money, then I'll finally feel like I'm good enough. And that was coming from a people-pleasing mentality. It's like, I need to prove myself to be good enough, which is, it's kind of bullshit. Like, these 2 things here, they won't be true, they'll be false. It'll be like a limiting belief, but it will be your belief, right? So it'll be a limiting belief, but it will be your belief. And you've got to be honest with yourself about these things. Okay? Don't, try to shove it down, or let your ego and your pride inflate itself so big that you don't actually address the issue. Like, just think about it and be honest with yourself. What are you displaying? Cool. Once you've done that, 3.5, right, is to dig deeper. So we're going to do a little meditation now. This is the inner child healing part. Because once you've identified the pattern and you've found the attachment, when I have this thing, I'll finally feel this way, and you've identified the kind of energy, the unconscious energy that it's coming from, you can dig a little bit deeper and you can ask yourself this question, right? When did I feel a similar way earlier in my life? When did you feel a similar way earlier in your life? And I'm going to help you with this now. So just take a pause. If you're in your chair, you can relax back in your chair, and really just close your eyes down and take a deep breath and relax. This is not going to take too long. Just take another deep breath and relax. And in your mind, just go through these questions. Number 1, identify the pattern. What was it? Cool. Number 2, find the attachment. When I have this thing, I'll finally feel this way. You got that in your mind? Step 3, is this coming from a victim mentality or a people-pleasing mentality? Once you've got that, good, tune into that energy, start to feel what that feels like, and then ask yourself, when did you feel a similar way earlier in your life? When did you feel a similar way earlier in your life? And then just pay attention to whatever thoughts or memories come into your mind. And they might not seem logical, it might not seem like it makes sense, but just trust whatever thoughts or memories come to your mind. Now take a deep breath. Choose one, choose the biggest memory that you've got there. Relax on the exhale. And now imagine yourself going into that memory. See if you can paint a picture of that memory. Paint a picture of yourself, your younger self. Pay attention to what they were feeling in that moment. What was the experience that they were having? See if you can pay attention to what thoughts you were thinking, what beliefs you were developing about yourself and about the world in that moment. Take a deep breath and relax. Now just lean in and imagine that you're giving your younger self a hug. Tell your younger self that it's okay, that they're loved, that they're good enough, that they're perfect just the way they are. Take another deep breath and let go. Give them a big hug. Let them know it's okay. When you're ready, you can release them. Say goodbye. Let them know that you've got this. You're in control. And then say goodbye. Once you've done that, you can open up your eyes. Take any notes that you might need to take from that exercise. Usually that's a bit of a powerful one for people and can bring up a lot of emotion. So if you feel like you need to write anything down, write it down. And then we're going to move on to step 4, right? So that's kind of the hard part. That's the first half, which is like unpacking the emotional shit, unpacking the unconscious shit from the past. And what we're going to do now is we're going to leave the past behind us. We're going to leave the old behind us and we're going to focus on creating the new. So we're going to go create a new identity. Question to ask is, who do you want to be? Who do you want to be moving forward? So you might want to be the loving partner. You might want to be the present husband or father. You might want to be the confident and abundant entrepreneur. What do you want to be? Who do you want to be, right? Paint a picture of that. Write down some words that come to mind of the kind of person who you want to be. Cool. You can obviously pause this video at any point and complete the tasks. And again, it's on my website. It's on the blog. This whole thing in a blog form, so you can read it. Step number 5. Once you've gotten clarity on who you want to be, step 5, connect to your heart. So this is only going to take a second. Take your hand on your heart and take a deep breath. And let it all go. Take another deep breath, breathing into your heart. And let it all go. One more deep breath, closing down your eyes, breathing into the heart, breathing in. Bringing your attention to the heart and say to yourself, when I connect with my heart, I finally feel, exhale, relax. What's the word that comes to mind when you connect to your heart? Some people it's peace, it's love, it's safety. When I connect to my heart, I feel ... Answer that question. Write down the words that came up for you. And this is the last step of this system, okay? Integration, okay? So integration. Now, What can you do moving forward from this day, moving forward from this moment, to help you actually integrate this, to help you create this new identity, to connect to your heart? The thing is, when you connect to your heart, when I connect to my heart, I finally feel calm, peace, safe, good enough, whatever it is. Up here at step 2, you had an attachment. When I have the partner, when I have the money, when I have the business, when I have the promotion, then I'll finally feel good enough. Then I'll finally feel happy, or whatever it is. But down here, when I connect to my heart, I feel it already. The idea is that you don't need this thing that you thought you needed. You just need to connect to your heart, and you just need to focus on creating this new identity. And you do that by integrating. So moving forward, what's one thing that you can start doing to create this new identity and to embody this new identity, to move into this new self? And what's one thing that you can stop doing that the old self does, that the victim self does, or the people pleaser self? What's one thing you can stop doing from that old self, and one thing you can start doing from the new self, right? That's it. Do this consistently. Use this practice. You've got it now. And again, it's in the blog post. And if you want more help with this, then I offer coaching services, right? There's 2 ways to work with me. One way is you can hire me as your one-on-one coach, and I will help you with this and give you personalized guidance and accountability. And then the other way is you can join the Mind Launch membership. I have a Mind Launch membership where I have a lot of frameworks like this. I have a full healing series. I have an anxiety to alignment course. We do weekly group coaching calls as a community, and it's the best way that I can help. You can join on a monthly basis, and you can cancel anytime. So there's the membership. Or if you want to hire me as your one-on-one coach, and I'll personally help you with this stuff, then the links will be in the description of this video along with the blog. So hope that was helpful. I trust that it will be if you use it. I know it's been helpful for me in my life. I'm sure it'll be helpful for you as well. So that's it for today. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.